Hey, and welcome to the Scrapping Studio. My name is Tracy Walker, Creative Memories Advisor in Des Moines, Iowa, and welcome to another episode of Sketch Sunday. Today, we are going to continue working through the 52 Scrapbooking Project Recipes. This was a book that came out last year in October in honor of Creative Memories' birthday, and they've done this the last 3 years, so I hope they keep this going because I really like this. And we are going to be doing project recipe 29, and that is on page 62 of the book. This was originally done with Adventure Park Collection, but today we are going to be using Perfectly Patriotic, which is the last year's collection for 4th of July, or the Patriotic collection they came out with last year. And as you can see, it has, it uses, so it has cardstock, designer paper 1 and designer paper 2. We are going to be using 3 designer pages. So the base is going to be these blue fireworks is going to be our base. I'm just going to set this aside for now. And our designer, so I'm doing these as designer paper 1. I have this labeled is these, and then I'm going to have it going this way. That has this on the back. Designer paper 2, which is the red. I've already cut out the stars border maker, and we're going to cut a second one out. And then designer paper 3 is these stars. And on the back is this. And on the back was this plaid. So we are going to be, these are the 3 papers that we're going to be using. So let's get started. Get this, there we go. I'm in trouble getting that off of it. All right, so it says here for paper A, we're going to cut 2 strips at 2.5, and then we're going to cut some math. So this paper that's A and B is going to be going horizontal. So we're going to cut this vertical so that when we turn, we're going to cut it. Now I'm confusing myself. We are going to cut it horizontal. So when we turn it vertical, it looks like that. So let's go through that again. So we want to cut it at when it's horizontal. So when it's turned, the lines are vertical. So I'm going to cut, make sure I have the right blade in there because I had been cutting with a different blade earlier today. So we're going to do 2.5. There's 1. And then the second one is, get this lined up. It's 2.5 for 2. And then we're going to do 2 mats at 6.5 by 4.5. So here's, and put that at 6.5. This is a piece of scrap. Close that. And then we're going to do 4.5. So that's 1 and 2. And then we have another scrap. All right, so we'll put those aside. So the next paper is we're going to cut with the border. So I'm just going to put this down for a minute, and I'm going to get out my border maker. I'm using, this is an older one, it's stars, and we are going to punch out 1 more because I needed 2, and then I'm going to punch out. So you have the guide and kind of makes your paper straight. And once you've got that, you flip it under and it snaps into place. And then with the border maker, these plastic grooves match with the metal teeth. In this cartridge, it just pops in like that and make sure the teeth are always facing out. And then you're just going to go. This one's a easy one just because it doesn't have a lot of intricate. It is a punch out, so which means it's just punching the design out, and we can save those stars. I have this little tray that has like a ton of just extra pieces. All right, I'm gonna put this to the side for now. We'll be needing that. And then what we're going to do is we're going to trim. And I have found this pretty true with all of them. You trim it just over 1 1/8, it comes out pretty even on each side. So I'm going to do that. So I have that, and put that in our pile. And then it also says we need 6 by 1 1/2. Okay, so we've got the 6. And then 1 1/2. So we really, let's see. I guess what I'm going to do, I don't want to use it. So it's 1 1/2. So I'm going to just cut it down to 3. And then I'm going to flip it and see if I did this right. And then 1 in. I'm trying to see where the line is. 1 1/2. I get it cut. Oh, there it is. I'm like, wait a minute. And then I'm going to cut one more at 1 1/2. 1 1/2. And I'm just going to line it up where I see this piece. That way, I'm kind of just, I'm only cutting a chunk and not this whole thing. So I don't know if it matters, but sometimes it makes it easier. I'm going to set that aside. So we have these 2 pieces for there. I'm going to close this back up. And then our third piece, I'm going to start with that. And that says 1 by 1 1/2. That does not seem right. I think they mean 1, or it's 1 by 1 1/2 by 12. So let's just start where these are 1 1/2. So I'm going to start, as you can see right here, it says 1 by 1 1/2, and that's not right. We're going to do 1 1/2 by 6. We're going to do these 2 first. So 1 1/2 by 6, 1 1/2 by 6. So I'm going to move a little Post-it note. I'm going to cut these. Okay, 1 1/2, 1 1/2. All right, so there's 1. And then there's 2. And then there is 3 1/2 by 3 1/2. All right, and I'm not going to be reversing. I am just going to, I'm going to look at what S and T look like. What is S and T? N, O, P, Q, R. Okay, I'm crazy, but S and T, they're right down here. So these are 1 1/2 as well. I'm not going to cut the mats at the moment, just to see how it goes together first before I decide if I'm going to cut the mats or not. All right, 1 1/2. And then we're going to hold this to the side on that. So the 2 of these are by 6. And we're going to cut 2 of them in half. And we're going to cut at 6. And then we're going to cut at 6 again. Now, if you want to make, what the other side is like, pay attention when you're cutting. So we have all those. All right. We are going to start assembling here. We've got our 2 pages, and usually I have 2 mats, and my other one was still packed up from my event. All right, so let's just start with these are going to go across like this. So I have them going horizontally. And then these 2 are going to go right here and here. And then this, I think those might have been, should have been 1 inch. So what we can do is trim off. a half inch. So that's where the error is on there. So if you do this one, and I'm gonna see if I can get this cut off straight. Let's see. I just want to take half an inch off, so then it's an inch. Right, so I'm going to move that to an inch, and then I'm going to trim it. So we have just an extra piece, and then I'm going to trim this one. So, and if you didn't notice, I think I cut the other ones wrong. I had them right the other way, but it's okay. It happens. It doesn't matter how you want it. All right, I'm going to cut that. And that takes a half inch off. So now we're going to see if that works better. Oh yeah, that's where the error, that's an error in the print. So, and then, let's see. All right, and I'm back. Like when I went to move the camera, everything froze and stopped working. So I had to like close my phone and start over and for that. So what I was saying was I was like, oh, I'm going to have the stripes going vertical instead of horizontal, but it's fine. Not a big deal. So you just have to pay attention better than I did. All right. So we have, so far, we have those. And then we need, so we have these and these. And then this is going to be the flip side of that. And then we have this red. And that works out perfectly. And then we have two mats. So those turned out horizontally. And then we can do the 3x3 photos. So they have it flipped, but actually I'm not going to flip them. So let's cut the mats after all. And the mats are going to be 3.5 by 3.5. And that's, so we're going to do 2 rows of that. We should have, this is 3.5. I wonder if I have enough. No, now I'm not going to have enough because the other got cut wrong because of the error. Well, we will have to make do. We will do something. I've got some cranberry cardstock we can add, that kind of stuff. So that's why it's not measuring up. So, no big deal. We'll just pivot for that. So I'm going to put those on there. And then this is just going to be extra. And then what I can do is I have this piece that's extra. You can just use the red. So let's see, is this going to be just about right? So there's 3.5, which leaves me with these two little scrap, or that, the other one I'm just going to throw away. All right, and then we'll keep doing 3.5. So that works out because we had all that extra paper. So just make a note, if you're going to do this one, it's only, you're going to do in 1x12, not a 1.5, because then that doesn't, the math doesn't add up. So, all right, for that. And there we go. We'll just use these instead. Make sure stuff sticks to the bottom of my thing all the time. Okay, so if we have, so it's 3 going across. So we have this one. Make sure we can see this one, and this one for that. All right, let's, now that we have, I like to dry fit because if there is a problem, I can make a correction before I adhere it all down. So let's just start with adhering it to the bottom. And I like to use repositionable tape runner. And I'm just gonna line this up, get it on there, and then make sure I get them so that each one of them has pretty much equal amount of space. There. All right, this is kind of sticking up, so I'm going to put some adhesive down there. And we got these. Now, for these, what we're going to do is just cut a little banner into them. I need to find my scissors. There we go. And I'm just going to close it and then just pinch and then cut a little banner. And then I'm going to do the same thing on this one. And you always want to cut on the open side, and you can cut a deep or as not deep banner as you want. And then just continue, keep doing that. And there we go. All right, so they have them all at different lengths. So let's kind of put these guys into place so we can see how long. That one's in the middle. And then let's make that the short one, and that one kind of the middle. So, okay, so we're going to use this one as the longest one, and I do put tape on that crease just to get it to sit down a little bit better for that. And then this one is going to be our shortest one right there. And then this one is going to be kind of the medium one. And have that kind of right there. Just like that. And then get this one on. And then let's get these guys on. This one looks really crooked all of a sudden. Okay, didn't get that on straight or something. All right, there we go. And then this for this. So I thought for Memorial Weekend, this would be totally an appropriate layout. If you live in Iowa, a lot of small towns do Memorial Day parades. My husband's from one of those small towns that they do a whole parade and ceremony at the city cemetery every year. And between the VFW and the Legion, they take care of that. All right, so we have one side done. And so for several years, my kids and my husband and me will go out to the cemetery the week before Memorial and help put flags and crosses out. Like hundreds and hundreds of flags. If you Google Winterset, Iowa Memorial Day, then they have to move my cord. It's like I kept bumping it every time I would do something. I can't remember how many flags. I think it's like upwards of 500 flags. And then they have all these handmade crosses that my father-in-law has made over the years. And it's just beautiful. And they have someone that comes and speaks, and it's just a really, really, really honoring thing to be able to do and take part of and stuff. So for that, and get these down. All right. All right, and we'll get these. This is going to be the longest one. Again, I'm sure you cut on the fold it in if you want the banner to go inwards like that. Oops, this one jumped out of my hand. All right. So hopefully this year, it's supposed to, I think, be bad weather in Iowa this weekend. I don't think bad weather, but I think rainy weather maybe. And so I'm hoping that it doesn't rain it out, because in some years they've had to they couldn't put flags out just because of the weather and the rain for that. All right. I just want to kind of, I'm going to get these closer to each other so I can kind of see eyeball. All right. Let's see how far he's about even with that. All right. So then this one is going to be the shortest one. And then this one's going to be the middle one. All right. Let's move that out so we have a little bit more showing there. Okay. And then you can cut it with your trimmer. What I'm going to do is, it's here at the top here, it makes it easier for me to cut when it's not flapping. I'll just trim it off right there. Put those in my scrap pile. And so now we have 2-page layout. Let's go back to their embellishments. And I have this whole bag of embellishments for extra paper. I use this a lot for my son's Eagle Scout and Boy Scout stuff. And I thought, oh, they have a banner. So we could use the banner. I'm just going to cut it, and I'm going to put it on both sides. Cut that. And I'm going to put it up there like that. And then we'll do another one. I don't know, I might. Let's see if we want to do more than one. That one like that. All right. Don't know. I'm gonna cut one more because they're already cut anyways. And see. Do I want to like have a second one in there like that? Oh, I kind of like that. All right. That kind of just uses up the row then. If we have the banners on there, and then I'll just, I need to, all right, that, and then we'll just trim off the ends of it. We have that one. I'm also going to put, let's see, find my, I think those are 2, yep. I'll get my little photo placeholders on here. Just so it kind of gives you a vision of how it's going to look. You can buy these at the Creative Memories website. It does come with a little like folder to put them in, a little accordion folder. And then I just need 4x6. And they have them on, you can have them on each side. I like having them here just because this way, and I just put a little adhesive on them. I just put a little down the middle, and then I can either use them for photo mats, or I can rip them off and then reuse them again. So we'll put those on there, and then we'll get some more embellishments. And then the repositionable tape runner comes up. As time goes by, it does adhere, kind of glues itself to it, but you can still pull it off without damaging anything. All right. I got those. All right. What else? What other clusters do they have? All right. Let's see what other. I have lots of stuff. These. They do say 4th of July, but some of them just say like Home of the Brave. Let me go through my stash. Nope. That might have something. This has barbecue stuff, which is good. Oh my gosh, I have like some of them. There are several that are the same. All right. Parties and picnics. All right. Let's see what decisions we can make. There are a lot of stickers. Okay, so they have, let's see, what Freedom Ring. There was one that I saw. No, nope. Like a one that's a parade is okay. No, just kind of going back through my. This is kind of cute. You could have the little seats there. Thinking like have those here with a little parade thing because like everybody sits for that. So I'm gonna get my foam squares out and we'll use some foam squares for those. And I have my sticky thing and it fell somewhere in my off my table in the world somewhere and I haven't been able to find it yet. So I'm doing the very scientific method of I stuck it to my shirt to have it less sticky. So I'm going to put some foam squares on here. I love foam squares just because it gives it lots of dimension. We'll put this one in a little bit. All right, so we'll put this one. Let's put that one right there. And then we'll do the second one. Make sure I put that down a little bit further. I'm hoping that they will come back out with the thinner ones and the circle ones because I'm pretty much out of those. And I really, really did like those. And I obviously did not buy enough of them for me. All right. Put this here, kind of the thing, and then put the parade. I'm trying to figure out how to. Should have decided how to do that first before I wanted to put that right there like that. All right, what other what else do they have? They have they just have banner on one side. But I feel like we should I like this America the Beautiful. Put that right there. All right, what else we got? Such like so many choices. All right, we got America the Beautiful. that guy up there, maybe. He probably would look, I don't know. Where did this guy come from? There we go. Let's see what other stickers I got going here. As I saw, 4th of July, Home of the Braves. Kind of like the picnics and parties. Okay, so let's get the America the Beautiful and get colors back out. And foam tape works great too, but I don't have any foam tape left either. So I'm hoping that they're coming back with foam tape because they don't have that. They sold out of it and hasn't replenished it. So sometimes when you have bigger pieces like this, having foam tape is really, really nice. I'm just peeling all these off. There's a whole pile. All right, and put this guy right here, and then what do we decide if there was any? Put something right there. Oh yeah, we were gonna put the picnics and parties. I'm running out of sizes, so we're just gonna go do that. And then let's put picnics and parties, and then let's see what we got for. And then let's put this guy right here, kind of underneath. We don't need that. The red, white, and blue drinks that are always fun. There's the barbecue tongs. I don't know. Let's put those kind of right here, just like that. All right. Well, I think we are done, and I got to use up some more stickers. You can see I have a whole pile of them for July 4th, Memorial Day. Anything military, I would say, would be great. So, I did not. I'm just gonna fold those back like that. I'm not trim them. I'm just gonna fold them to the back side. So let's pull out our sketch using it was Adventure Parks collection. And don't forget that this is supposed to be an inch, 1 inch by 12. And otherwise, I mean, I fixed it and did other paper, but for the sketch, I think it turned out great. It'll hold, so it's 8 pictures. You could always divide these in half if you want to as well. For that, well, thank you for joining me again today. My name is Tracy Walker, Creative Memories Advisor in Des Moines, Iowa. I do hold 7 events a year if you're interested in attending. My next one, and it still has spaces available, is June 14th. I am excited for anyone new to come. We get new people all the time, and they have a great time. So you are invited. I will put all the information below that you would need to register to attend. Thanks again, and have a great day.